So a few weeks ago, Paul Sr. from OCC Choppers challenged us to a build-off.
Yeah, the other guy, the bearded mechanic, he's another guy that'd go toe-to-toe it.
And without thinking and hesitation, I went onto the comments section and said, sure, sounds like fun. Oh man, did that ever change things? So I hopped on a flight, flew to Florida, met my friend Sean there, who Paul Sr. also challenged into this three-way build-off, and we discussed the rules of this challenge. Now, for all you wondering how I got picked to build an American bike, let me tell you how this went down. We put up a community poll on all three channels. Secretly, Sean and I really wanted to see Paul Sr. build a Japanese bike because why not? I think that would be completely interesting and so much fun. And by secretly, I meant we totally stoked the fire and told everybody to go over to his channel and vote for Japanese. My fans came through and gave me the American bike. Now, the first thing I have to clear up is I absolutely apologize for last week's miscommunication. This bike here was not actually the bike we were building for the build-off, but could you imagine how crazy it would be if I showed up with that all like Bozozuka style? Is it Bozozuko? Bozozuko? Bozozuka?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, well,
Bazooka Joe?
Type Bozozuko Japan motorcycles into the Gargler and you're gonna see what I mean. Let me put the nail into this coffin and we're gonna get this out of the way quick and then we're gonna move on to the build. Okay, so since last week, I got this bike pretty much all finished up. The wheels are clean, everything is nice and clean. We got fuel lines, fuel filter, we have new oil lines, rear wheels all clean. I got a knob on here, there's no more tape, you notice that? Everything is good and clean. The bike starts 1 or 2 kicks, runs out really good. Super pumped with the way this thing turned out. But like I said, sorry for the pump fake, this is not the build bike. So while I was finishing up that bike last week, I set Dan on a mission, and it was to search for every Harley Davidson $3,500 and less in a relatively small circle from us. And here is a very accurate representation of how we actually found this bike last week.
Yo, Craig, what about a XL 883 Custom?
That's a Sportster.
Ooh, I found someone selling a XL 1200 Sport.
Nope, still a Sportster.
Craig, this is the one. XLH 900.
Try again, that's another Sportster. It was at this moment here where I started thinking this was not a good idea. Until Dan found this gem.
Yo, Craig, I found a Harley.
Yo, that's interesting.
Yo, it's really close. It's in the next town over. But he wants 3,500 for it. We can swing that, right?
What's his name?
The guy's name is. You know that guy, Craig?
Of course I know who he is. I know who everybody is. Okay, enough goofing around. It is time to get cracking on this bike. You see, this is like a 5-week build. We're already 1 week behind, and I'm gonna be out of town for 2.5 of the other weeks. All of that said, Dan, let's go get this bike. Now that the deal is done, the man has been paid. This bike is officially ours. We have 23,000 miles on it. Now, originally this gentleman was asking $3,500 for this motorcycle. Turns out I kind of knew who he was once I saw the bike and the name. So I sent him a message and I said, hey, Paul Sr. challenged my friend Sean and I to a bike build-off, but one of the rules is we have to find a bike and buy a bike for $3,000 or less. I said, would you be interested in taking $3,000 from me so I can go build this bike against Paul Sr.? And he said, let me think about it. Yeah, shucks. That's not what I wanted to hear. Good news is, about 20 minutes later, I got a text back and he said, yep, let's do it. I gotta say, I think this was $3,000 well spent. Unlike finding a Sportster or something else kind of in this $3,000 price range, I got myself something here that actually has a little bit of motor behind it. Oh yeah, dude, that sounds good. This is my 2004 Harley Davidson V-Rod. That's right, I picked a Harley-Davidson V-Rod. And this one here is a 2004. It's 20 years old. We have 23,000 miles on it, and it's water-cooled. I don't know, when I saw this bike, I just knew this was the one we had to have.
You mean when I told you about it?
When Dan found this bike, I just knew it was the one we had to have. These were introduced in like 2002 in a couple firsts. It was the first production Harley-Davidson to have over 100 horsepower. It was the first production Harley-Davidson to be water-cooled. Harley actually looked outside the box and found some engineers at Porsche, and they developed the Revolution engine. It's a 1131cc engine that puts out 115 horsepower. Again, this was the first production Harley to put out over 100 horsepower stock off the showroom floor. We got that going for us. What else do we have here? We have 49 millimeter forks on the front of these. This is an 04. In 2006 would have been a good year too, because that's when they switched to the Brembo calipers on these bikes. But I think we can address that and help this thing stop a little better. Because right now when you grab the front brake, nothing much happens. A slight downhill might even slow you down more. So these were brought out in 2002. 2002 is the year I graduated college, packed up all my stuff and moved to Arizona and went to MMI, Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Now, I remember a long hallway over in the Harley wing of the building, and there was a room, and it had, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 of these bikes in, and nobody had ever seen them before. It was brand new. And I remember peeking in the windows and checking them out that way. So I always thought they were really pretty neat bikes. The next thing we have to do though is we have to figure out what we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. Our budget is somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000, $15,000. I need to confirm that. Now, I am by no means a professional bike builder like Paul Sr. is, but I have built some pretty cool bikes. Remember that jet ski bike? That was cool. How about the Home Depot bike? Yeah, that one was neat too. Engine hoist bike, that was fun. Yeah, definitely sketchy. Between you and me, I think we've built some of the most impressive bikes on the planet up to this point. So the way I'm gonna approach this build is I'm gonna break it out into a couple big chunks. The first is aesthetics. What am I gonna do to change the looks of this bike aesthetically? That can be tires, wheels, paint, bars, seats, exhaust, colors. I don't know, it can be a whole big list of things. The next big area I want to address is the power plant. I'd like to give this thing a little bit of pep, you know, just a smidge. So I'm gonna allot some money in the budget to handle the engine. And then I'm gonna handle the overall handability and riding characteristics of the bike. Things like the brakes, the suspension, the ergonomics, some different things like that. And I'm only gonna really worry about the brakes if there's money left over in the budget, if I'm being completely honest.
Who needs them?
They just slow you down. So one of the rules we established for this build-off is we're not allowed to use freebies. That means Olin's sends me a set of suspension for this bike. It needs to go on to my budget. I can't just say, hey, thanks for the suspension and throw it on the bike. No, I have to keep all the numbers accurately. And this is when I started realizing that maybe doing a Harley-Davidson wasn't the most economical choice for this build-off, because apparently these things are like airplanes, and every time you open a door you just throw a bunch of cash at it. I'm not even joking. Every piece I've looked at in the last 3 days has been between $659 and $1,260. That means I got about 10 pieces I can buy to throw on this bike. It's gonna be fun figuring out what we do. That means I have to use my budget wisely and pick the right parts so I can stretch my money as far as it can go. Now, one of the good things is we never discussed what happens when you take parts off the bike and sell them. So say I pull this exhaust system off and get $200 for it, I'm throwing $200 back onto the budget to spend on something else. I don't know how that's gonna work out for Sean's bike, considering I saw it and it looks like a burnt French fry. Hey, you win some, you lose some, right? So while the bike's cooling off, I'm gonna get into my builder's frame of mind, and I'm gonna peep this bike out a little bit, get these creative juices flowing. Yep. So I don't know what direction we're going to head with this bike yet. I had Dan look up V-rods and pick some things to, model it after, and they all look like the ones my 10-year-old picked out. And they're like the Batmobile bikes, and they're really low muscle bikes. And
yeah, Craig, just make a Batmobile bike.
man, I'm concerned I don't have the talent or time for that, or budget. I still don't know how we're headed yet. We're going to figure that out, though, here, because I got to start getting parts headed this way. But like I said, I know there's things here we're not going to use, so let's start pulling that off. Let's just start up in the front. I think we're going to go like fenders, mirrors, radiator covers, those covers, airbox cover, seat, rear fender, exhaust. Let's kind of open this up a little bit. We can start dialing it in my brain. We should have how many times does Craig's brain break counter in this series?
The counter's going to break.
Okay, let's get to work, Dan. Let me grab some tools. Weapons of mass destruction. I read a funny thing last night on Wikipedia. I said Harley, designed this with the help of some engineers from Porsche. But if you read Wikipedia, it's like the opposite. Porsche designed this with a couple engineers from Harley or something like that.
There's the story Harley wants and the story that Porsche wants. And that's why Porsche and Harley never worked together again.
I went to see through the wheel and I can't.
I don't know, Craig. With this wheel being like a blank slate, you could cut, bat emblems in here.
So is that a stupid, could we machine something into these blanks? I don't know the answer to that.
We should try.
The only thing if a wheel collapses, something stupid happens, I don't want to be the guy that cut the pieces out of the
I guess
wheel.
that's a good point.
However, wheels are not inexpensive. Is there a clause in the budget that says safety? Like safety items don't count?
I don't think so. I think that's just something we have to work around.
Oh, dang it.
Good coming up with loopholes.
Hey there, front tire. How you doing? Let's take these off since we're here. If we can resell these mirrors, we can add that money back into the budget. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't think that's a loophole. These mirrors look cool, but when I was riding, I noticed all I could see out of them were my knuckles. There we have our coolant reservoir, main fuse. Oh, what's that in there? Lifetime warranty. I don't know, is that for a headlight? LED headlight lens maybe, or kind of goodies do we have in here? This is like working on a Japanese bike. So there we have our electricals. Okay, now Dan, let's figure out how this comes off. How do you think this comes off? Okay, there's like a little,
if you don't see any screws,
sheet metal nut here and here.
Probably just pops off.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Rear master cylinders down here. That's the reservoir for that. I'm gonna try to keep all the hardware organized this go around because I'm not super familiar with these bikes and I can't just pick what goes where out of a bucket like I can some other bikes. So I'm gonna try to stay a little organized. It's there. A little tab there. Yeah, so this is all aluminum, and they might have switched in later years to plastic. Not 100% sure, but I think that sticks in my brain. This is actually the last letter in the nomenclature is a B, and that's like the black edition or something. So it gave like the black frame instead of the silver frame and the black powder coated engine. I'm not sure what else it changed. Something probably. But they made that in, I think, 04 and 05. Everything is exactly the same. It's just some color differences. Let's take these chrome pieces off. I need a screwdriver and something to pop those nuts off. I wonder how Sean's making out. I wonder what Paul Sr. found. Been a little quiet out of the senior camp here lately. Guess they did have a hurricane.
He's gonna come out swinging. Don't worry.
Dealing with. Oh, dude, I'm not worried. I am excited. I am excited to see what he.
Paul Sr. knows exactly what's going on. He's just lying in wait before he reveals anything.
Right.
Like, I'm not like these chumps. I'm not gonna show my hand just yet.
Yeah, dude, smart like fox. Oh, there was another one of them up there. No way I was getting that thing off with this thing all together. Here we go, Dan. Seat. There's your tank. On a V-rod, it's in under here. Wow. Check oil at every fueling with vehicle upright and level. Yo! What? Check this out.
Ooh, that's a big boy.
Yo, legit. I had no idea that was in there. Honestly, I had no idea. Chalk that up as a win. Like, that's a bling part we don't even have to pay for. Oh, look, there's a Dynajet in it, too.
Comes with bling. Comes with these bling Porsche designed parts.
We have a nice battery. Got a good battery. We got, I don't know what that thing up here is. What's this? Where does this thing go? Made in America. Biketronics Smart Equalizer.
That looks like a firework.
Hopefully it doesn't turn into one. Dynojet? Yeah. Billet intake. That's really cool, man. Like, generally, it's just a plastic stupid airbox here. Show a big stupid airbox here. Okay. Well, that's neat. That is pretty neat. Let's move on back here to the back. Let's start popping these here off. Oh, there we got the Delphi system. All right, let's figure out how to pull this fender off. Those probably go places.
Oh, that's fun.
That's handy.
That's really cool. I'm really glad that happened.
Hey, look, my zip gun has a flashlight on it,
Hey,
Dan.
we can keep going.
I just heard my neighbor's generator kick on. I'll be perfectly honest, we don't have time for power outages.
Clearly, this is just re-solidifying what I've been telling you all day. You are the Batman of motorcycle mechanics. You're working in the dark right now. Bat mechanic.
That's all well and good, but man, I tell you what, it's easy to run out of talent pretty quick when you're doing that.
I want to get you nods for this very scenario.
Dude, I want night vision goggles. And there we go.
I don't know, Craig, maybe we should just turn the lights off every once in a while.
That's how we get our best work done.
Just like that, there's no more blue on the bike.
Just like that, there's no more blue. Dude, we found some awesome bling. Pretty stoked about that. That's neat. Now, let's hit this exhaust. What do you say to that, Dan?
Hit it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna set these right here for now. Be careful with those. Oh, there it goes.
Sounded amazing.
Dan, we should see if we can find a Sportster.
Where did you send that?
I think it bounced off the garage door.
Bounced off the garage door, out the shop.
So what did that do for us? Did that give me what I was looking for? In a nutshell, no, not really. I'm not sure what I did here, Dan, but I got this thing locked up tight as can be.
Ugh.
You like that sound?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's ready for you to throw that thing.
It's got to be worth $4. Probably not even that. There's not much less valuable in this world than a stock Harley exhaust.
Yeah! Woo!
Hey, that was neat. Uh-oh, my headlamp's dying, Dan. Okay, so we got off a lot of the big bits. We're kind of getting down to the bare bones here. We can start dialing in the brain power to figure out the aesthetics of this bike. I just got word that power is going to be out. It's noon o'clock here today. And power is going to be out the rest of the day. Because that's what we need when we're on a time crunch that we basically can't get done anyway. We need the power to go out for a day. My headlamp's dying, our computers are off, Dan's camera batteries are doing the best they can. I think this is as good a spot as any to call it for today. I'm super excited, guys. I can't believe I'm actually doing a bike build off with Paul Sr. and my buddy Sean. This is gonna be awesome. We're gonna have a few videos on this. We don't have a lot of time, we gotta keep cracking. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan's gonna put a video here and here. Check him out, I know you're gonna love him. Have a great weekend. See ya.